Let's sew up the new evergreen pattern. The first thing to do is get the neckband piece, fold it wrong sides together, and give it a good press. Then we are going to find the middle of the neckband piece and match it up with the middle of the front bodice piece. Match up the ends as well. And take it to your sewing machine or your serger to attach. You are going to stretch gently on the neckband to match up with the neckline of the front bodice piece. Once you have the neckband attached, give it a good press and optional top stitch along the neckline. The next step is to find the crossover bodice pieces. You are going to put them right sides together, and you are going to sew along the top and bottom curve. Once you have the top and the bottom curve sewn together, turn the bodice right sides out and take it to your ironing board and give it a good press. After giving your bodice a good press, you are going to sew 2 rows of gathering stitches on each straight side of the bodice. One is going to be 1/4 inch away and one is going to be 1/8. Then take your front bodice piece you had previously set aside, measure up 1/2 inch from the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and mark it with a pin. And that is where the crossover bodice is going to start. Measure 1/2 inch up. That's where the bottom of the crossover starts. And then you are going to pull your gathering stitches until it is the same length as your other bodice. And just match up these sides, make sure it's all even, and pin or clip it in place. With the right side attached, take this bodice and flip it do the same thing on this side. Measure up 1/2 inch. That's where the bottom of this bodice is going to start. The same thing as the other side. Pull your gathering threads to match up with the other bodice. Pin or clip it in place, and then take it to your sewing machine and baste it. Once you have basted the crossover bodice to your main front bodice piece, you can set this aside, and we are going to do the back bodice next. The next step is put your main back bodice and the lining for your back bodice right sides together, and you are going to sew along the neckline, just along this top curve. Once your neckline is sewn, turn the bodice right sides out and give it a good press. Next, take your back bodice and your front bodice, face the back bodice with lining up, and your front bodice right sides up. Take your back bodice, move the mane out of the way on the shoulders. The front bodice piece fold down and move the crossover out of the way and attach at the shoulder seams. So a little bit closer. This is where it will attach. It will attach at the side of the shoulder, not matching up with the middle of the neckline. Take the other side and the same thing. Next, take the crossover bodice, open it up, match up the center, match up one side with the lining, match up one side with the main. Repeat with the other side. Once everything is pinned or clipped in place, take it to your serger or your sewing machine and sew along the shoulder seams. Once you have your shoulder seams all sewn together, flip the shoulders back out how they should be, pin or clip them in place, and then you will lay the bodice flat with the back bodice straight up. Then bring down the mane and match it up with the front bodice. Once you have the front lined up, bring the lining down and match this up along the side seams as well. So your front bodice is going to be sandwiched in between the back bodice main and the back bodice lining. Pin or clip it in place and take it to your serger or your sewing machine and sew it in place. Once you have the side seams all sewn up, turn the bodice right sides out. And now we are ready to start our sleeves. Set this aside for now and grab your sleeve pieces. Now for the sleeves. The first thing you will do is hem along the inside curve of each side. It's a 1/2 inch hem allowance. You can use your cover stitch, twin needle, sewing machine, or even use a rolled hem. Now for the sake of time, I'm just leaving mine raw. The first thing you will do after you have these insides hemmed, have both of your pieces right sides up and match along the top curve. Pin or clip it in place. Then take it to your machine and baste along the top. After adding a basting stitch to the top curve, lay your sleeve piece back out, right sides up, and you will twist the sleeve alternating which one is on top. So I'm going to pull the one from underneath, put the one that's on top underneath, bring this one out. It's gonna look a little funky to start, but it'll all work out. And then as you're twisting and you pull the bottom up to the top, match up this bottom curve, starting at the middle, going out. Curve is all pinned or clipped in place. Take it to your sewing machine, add 2 rows of gathering stitches, starting a 1/2 inch from the edge on each side. Once you have your gathering stitch on the bottom curve, you will place the sleeve right sides together, matching up the raw edges on each side. Pin or clip all the way down. Once you have it right sides together, all pinned or clipped together, take it to your serger or sewing machine and sew it in place. Make sure not to catch the basting gathering stitches that are at the bottom curve, because we will be using those before adding our cuffs. Once you have your sleeve all sewn together, turn it right sides out. Get your prepped cuff, and you are going to pull the gathering stitches along the bottom of the sleeve to match up with the width of the cuff. Make sure all of your gathers are distributed evenly. Then take the cuff and put it right sides together with the sleeve, matching up the seam on the cuff with the seam on the sleeve, and pin or clip it in place. Once you have the raw edges matched up, take it to your sewing machine or your serger and sew all the way around. Once the cuff is attached to the sleeve, turn the bodice wrong sides out. Place the sleeve inside the bodice. Match up your seams and match up the raw edges all the way around the curve and pin or clip it in place. Once you have it all pinned or clipped in place, take it to your serger or your sewing machine and sew all the way around. Once you have your sleeve attached, you can turn it right sides out and check it. Continue on, do the same exact thing for the other sleeve, and you are all set with your evergreen bodice. To finish the dress, just follow along in the instructions, and there you go. Hope that helped. Have a great day.